Greetings everyone and welcome to another Orb Producer tutorial brought to you by Hexachords. I'm Benjamin and in today's video we're going to be going over a general overview of the changes in 1.5. Firstly, I want to say we have massively overhauled our Orb Composer engine to create much more intelligent generated templates. So instead of having sort of more random things selected, it's going to be much more intelligently selected because we've created templated designs that it's going to base its choices off of. So as you can see, for example, in this template here, I didn't change any of these instruments. This is just by default what it created in Orb Composer. So that's just one example of one of the massive things we have changed in Orb Composer. And we'll go over more in detail the orchestra template later on, but for now I just wanted you to see the general ideas there. So also in the orchestra template we've added deformation, which we'll go over in the orchestra template review. Click the eye on the screen to check out that video. But deformation can be simply thought of as just the way the rhythm changes over time to keep it interesting. And as you can also see, we've added an intensity line. So this intensity line, what is this? What does this do? How does this work? Well, basically it's replacing the previous piano, pianissimo, mezzo forte, forte, all that stuff. Before you used to have to select those in your clip parameters. Now in your clip parameters, which by the way, we're going to go over that in a video as well. Click that eye to see more about these clip parameters. You'll see here that the dynamics here can be changed without having to do anything like selecting piano, pianissimo. It's not set for the entire block. Instead, it changes throughout the block. You can have it go up and down. You can have it go like crazy, like up, down, all over the place. You can have it do nice, smooth transitions like this. So, and with that in mind, you may have also noticed that our clip parameters window has actually changed, which we will go over in another video as well. But you can see basically it's a lot shorter, it's a lot smaller, it's easier, more compact, and it's much easier to use than the previous ones. You can just switch to melody, chords, and bass without having to go to a different tab and all that kind of stuff. So it's much easier to use than the previous versions as well. And for those who don't focus on orchestral as much, we have something just for you as well. So for our pop rock fans or our electro fans out there, your drums have now gotten massively improved. And what I mean by that is if you click on this button right here, you'll see a drum sequencer. Click the eye on the screen to see more about the drum sequencer in another video. But essentially this allows you to create, really quickly, change your drum patterns. And then, using the MIDI Editor, which, click the eye on the screen again to see a video about the MIDI Editor, you can quickly change notes to be where you want them to be, where they need to be if your drums is not mapped to the general MIDI selection. So if your drums are mapped to something other than general MIDI, you can quickly move all the instruments to where they need to be so that they match the drums that you're using. And it's worth noting that the drum sequencer works a lot like that of FL Studio. So now that I've edited the drum pattern here, I've moved the notes around, the thing here won't actually change the drums anymore. It won't edit anything anymore. So after you've moved anything in the MIDI editor, it no longer allows it to change with the sequencer. So the drum sequencer no longer works. And on that subject, speaking of MIDI Editor, we've added something that people have been begging for a long time, and that is, of course, the ability to edit your MIDI. So as you can see, it's really easy to edit the MIDI, and again, click that eye to see the video about the MIDI Editor. You can go up here and just change to whatever note you want. You can change it to anything. If I want to move stuff around, I can do that. Right? I can change the notes, I can add notes by double clicking. It'll default to around 50% velocity. You can change the velocity of everything really quickly just by dragging and clicking your mouse across, just like that. So the MIDI Editor is a really cool feature, and we're going to go over that more in detail later. For our orchestral composers out there, we have something especially for you, and that's me as well. I'm an orchestral composer for the most part. We have removed a lot of the kind of fluffy instruments that nobody really used, like alto flute, bass flute, double bass bassoon, double bass clarinet, and those things. We've also added 3 new instruments, harp, piano 1, and piano 2. And this is great. This really simplifies the orchestral template to such a degree that I'm really excited to be using it, because now it's not so daunting that I have to add all these articulations of these instruments that I'm never going to use, and they're going to be randomly selected by Orb Composer. Instead, everything's been much more toned down, so that it's a lot easier and more approachable to your average composer. Now, of course, if you wanted to, you can go in and find your alto flute, and you can drag it and drop it right in and create a block for it. But you will have to note that it will not automatically generate for that anymore. You will have to actually create a clip for it. For example, if I do this, I will have to create a clip for the alto flute. But it does still work. And lastly, and probably one of the biggest changes that I am in love with, is the Smart Melody Harmonizer. So if I take a melody that I really like, let's say, for example, the Jurassic Park theme, I had this quick import theme, and I click Jurassic Park theme, and I import it. Now watch what it does. It created something automatically. Just instantaneously created a melody, created a motif and things that go around it. I'm going to set the tempo to 80 for this. It set it to 120. I'm not a big fan of that tempo. It's a little too fast for me. That is already harmonized. I didn't have to do anything. And it created it's going to create the same harmony for every melody. So that's one thing to note. We'll go over more about this in detail. Click the eye on the screen to see more about the melody import feature. If you have any questions about these updates and want to ask me anything, please leave it in the comments down below, and we're happy to answer your questions there. Thank you so much for watching, and as usual, I'll see you in the next video. Hopefully you found this tutorial helpful. If you did, give us a like. And if you want to get your copy of Orb Composer, click the Buy Now button on the screen. If you have any questions or comments, you can leave them down below, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any future videos.